It's really hard to recommend romance manga when it's all pretty subjective. Some people like being walked like a dog, some people like a dog, some people like a little bit of toxicity in their relationship, and some people marry inanimate objects. It's all pretty subjective, but Insomniacs After School is one series that I can 100% say that everyone would enjoy. Nakami is a studious but cranky and antisocial high schooler who gets on his classmates' nerves. However, his bad attitude comes from the fact that he has a sleeping disorder and frequently spends nights on end without a single minute of sleep. During the preparations for the school festival, he is sent to the school's astronomy observatory to gather cardboard boxes, a place which is said to be haunted by the members of the old astronomy club. He finds the isolated place a place for him to sleep, but while rummaging around, he stumbles upon his classmate Magari Isaki sleeping inside a toppled over locker. Isaki, unlike him, is a personable and popular girl at class, but she also hides her own problems with insomnia. Looking for a middle ground, they find that there's comfort and ease in sleeping together, so they resort to making the observatory their own private cubby to sleep in. And what separates this series from all the other romance series out there is the warmth that it has. Much like Yuru Camp that has this wholesome warmth to it, this series has the exact same thing. What I personally love about the relationship is how real they are compared to all the other stuff out there. I think this series does a pretty good job of giving you a story about a relationship that slowly blooms over time and basically depicts what falling in love is like. It doesn't rush you into an overcomplicated storyline such as Rent a Girlfriend, it doesn't overshadow the romance to simply deliver some corny comedy, and it doesn't give you an incredibly etchy story to simply use those scenes to their advantage. No, this series gives you a storyline where in the same way that you fall in love with the characters, they also fall in love with each other throughout time. Now I need to talk about the author. Makoto Ojiro has been incredibly consistent throughout the last decade of her career. First, an amazing story with Fujiyama's Adolescence in 2012, then an even better written story in 2016 with Cat Temple Mishion, and in my opinion the pinnacle of her current work, Insomniacs After School in 2019, and still ongoing. All of these works show how good she already is, and looking at an author's ratings of all their previous works, you can really tell when someone worked on their craft to the point that they became an amazing author and the ones that just didn't. Makoto Ojiro is a perfect example of an author is slowly grinding on their craft to the point of being a great author that people can look forward and expect amazing storytelling and art from. Now the art is fantastic as well. The main thing that sticks out is the detail and facial expressions. These facial expressions remind me a bit of Nishijou or Akira, but regardless of how minimal these details are, I personally love the detail within the facial expressions that distinct each character from each other. And the insane amount of detail that goes into double spreads like this or this or this is what really makes the art stick out. What the art really reminded me of was Goodnight Pum Pum's double spreads of the night sky and the town, and I truly wouldn't be surprised if there was any reference material used from Goodnight Pum Pum. And yes, the art style is pretty basic, but in its own right it can keep a pretty aesthetic and appealing art style that makes you slowly fall in love with the series. Now for me, it's usually really hard for me to personally connect with the story, but Insomniacs After School is actually different in that regard. What truly connected with me was Nakami's character. Most of my time in high school was dark, depressing, and I truly never got any sleep since the most fun I had was when I was on Discord with my friends, and the time difference just didn't help, or stargazing since it calmed me the most. Nakami starts off as a cranky old man type of character with a much sweeter side to him that you slowly discover as the story goes on. As the bond with Isaki is built much more deeply than surface level, you discover new sides of Nakami, and I'd like to believe he discovers a new side of himself the more he gets to build these bonds with others. But not only that, I fully understand why he got into astrology in the first place. Although convenience was one of the main reasons to be able to sleep in the astrology club room, it was also partially coping. Throughout the story, this idea that another part of your life could be causing your insomnia is spread. It could be stress, family, or just overall situations happening in your life. And I fully understood this. Most people out there look for something to get through tough times in life. It could be friends, it could be hobbies, and this situation for both Nakami and Isaki, it's astrology. Now throughout the story, we see these two characters battling with setbacks that give you a deeper dive to why a character is the way they are. Whether it be struggling to get the right camera settings to get the perfect picture for an astronomy contest, or struggling to get funding for the astronomy club. These struggles is what makes you fall in love with each character and what makes the characterization in this series so great. Not only is the characterization of both of these characters fantastic, but After School Insomniacs doesn't depend on tropes to reel you in to like these characters. We see the struggles, we see the hardships, we see these characters just living their everyday lives to truly understand who they are and why they are the way they are. And with that comes the romance aspect of the story. The development with the romance is second to none, as you see the friendship between these two bloom. You see both of them slowly going from a safe distance away from each other to all of a sudden being inseparable. Now, even though this is a romance manga, I still don't know if they're going to end up with each other. Maybe it's infatuation, a crush, a fling, or maybe they just happen to be in the right place at the right time. But what I find the most appealing is that even if the moment doesn't last, even if it's just for this small pocket in time that they can find comfort in each other, I still love the journey of being able to turn an old Hane astrology club room to a home away from home. Now, to finish this video off, Insomniacs After School is a story that is absolutely amazing. Not only because the author spent a decade perfecting her craft, but also because of the warmth this series has. The art style that not only fits the aesthetic, but also somehow fits the theme of the story. And finally, the characters you get to know more and more about as each layer is peeled off chapter to chapter. I know romance can be subjective, and I know that not everybody's gonna find your favorite romance appealing. However, I can confidently say that Insomniacs After School is the only exception to that rule. Unless you're that guy from Reddit that the Seabat, I don't even know how he found this song to to. I'm generally just impressed. Oh yeah, also Ludwig, cause who the has sex to Japanese jazz? Psychopath.